Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's National Punctuation Day, Tony. What's your favorite punctuation mark?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. My proctologist says I have a fantastic colon.
Oh,
Like
good
that?
for him.
Colon.
I'm going to trump you.
Colon, yeah.
I'm going with the semicolon. Because my bet is
Really?
there's only about 1 million people in the country left who ever learned what the semicolon is. You got to be old. They don't know what semicolons are anymore. People don't even use punctuation when they text. It just runs
Mike?
on forever.
I use them every day. You can look at the pad. There's semicolons all over
Semicolon?
the place.
My
I'm the
favorite-
last of the semicolon rangers. Me.
No,
Me. Welcome
not-
to
no,
PTI,
not you,
boys
me.
and girls. In today's episode, the Dodgers bullpen blows it. Oklahoma State explains why it fired Mike Gundy, and Steve Young joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with baseball and movements towards the playoffs. The Cleveland Guardians beat Tarek Skubal and the Tigers last night 5-2, putting Cleveland and Detroit in a tie for the AL Central lead. The Mets came back from 6 down against the Cubs, and they won 9-7 to put them 1 game clear in the NL wildcard ahead of both Cincinnati, who lost, and Arizona, who won. And the Yankees and the Mariners clinched playoff berths with wins last night. Wilbon, what was the biggest deal among these developments?
Tone, to me, it was the Guardians beating Skubal in a way that was preposterous. I mean, they in the 6th inning, they get like a couple of bunt hits. They get on with 2 bunts. There's an infield grounder. They have 3 guys hit safely to start the inning, and no ball reaches 40 feet in the infield.
Right.
And you're like, what does Skubal
Right.
have to do? Then you get this crazy circumstance where a foul ball goes into somebody's face and busts him up, but it was a foul ball. It wasn't a hit matter. And all of a sudden, they spray a couple of hits opposite field, and they get to Skubal, and they win this game. And Skubal was just breezing along until he got to the 6th. And you're like, okay, Detroit's going to cling to this lead. But the Guardians, they pitch too. And Jose Ramirez, I think, is the most underrated player in the last 10 years in all of baseball. Because all he does is whatever his team needs, the Guardians to win. And so I care more about that matchup, Cleveland and Detroit being the son of the Midwest. I'm fascinated by it. I'm going to be fascinated by it again tonight. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to try to predict it. I just want to consume it.
Okay, so we are going to have a dull show today because I'm not going to disagree with anything you said. I was watching MLB Network last night, which is really good. So I got to see a little bit of most of these things that we're talking about. And the picture that I cannot get out of my mind is in the 6th inning at Cleveland when Skubal goes to field a bunt and then decides to throw it backwards between his legs to the first baseman.
Magic.
It goes way over the first baseman's head, and I'm sitting there literally saying to myself out loud, what are you doing? What are you doing? As you say, there's a 2-0 lead for Detroit. It ends up 3-2 at the end of that inning for Cleveland. Cleveland never looks back. Nothing leaves the infield. But it felt, Mike, like a meltdown by both Skubal and the Tigers.
I mean,
because there's a wild pitch. There's a ball.
Yeah, it was a wild pitch.
There's a lot of things that happen right in there. And this guy is the best pitcher in the league. So now Detroit has lost 7 in a row and 10 out of 11. 19 of their batters struck out last night out of 27 outs. Yeah. Cleveland is now 16-2 in the last 18. And again, as you pointed out, holds a team under 3 runs in the game. The momentum is with them. You know, I thought you were going to mention the Cubs because the Mets should never have won that game. Being down by 5 runs like that, 6-1, never win that game. We've got some NFL questions for our great friend, the man I mentored in our time together on the LA Express. Hall of Fame quarterback Steve Young. Let's start with this. The Giants are going to start Jaxson Dart at home on Sunday against the 3-0 Chargers. Team looks pretty good. As a rookie, how would you feel about this being your first test?
Look, if you're worried about it, that's a huge problem. Like, it's the NFL. It's coming at you. You're not, there's no way to get ready for it. There's nothing you do. You better just be excited about it. I remember maybe my second start, we go to Chicago in 1985 and the 85 Bears, Mike, you remember those days. And I walked in, we went out warm up and we come back in the locker room and Jimmy Ray's my offensive coordinator. He comes in, he sits next to Steve. listen, man, I want you to be careful out there tonight. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not trying not to throw too many picks. You know, he goes, no, I mean, like, you could get killed. Like, like I could die. I could die. And it was close. It was close. But I would love that to someone to go into Jaxson Dart and say, hey, bro, you know, be careful out there. You could die. But it's not going to happen. Look, what he needs, Tony, is he needs a running game. Young quarterback, every quarterback does, but young quarterbacks need the running game, so at least they can do play action, turn their back, do the things they thought they could do in college, and they have not run the ball well. Last week, not bad. Cam ran it better, but 28th in the league, and I think this week probably in the mid-20s. I mean, if the Giants are going to support a rookie quarterback, you got to be in the top 10 running team, and that's got to change fast.
Steve, I don't want to have any nightmares or anything, but I watched Sunday's game at Soldier Field with Richard Dent and Otis Wilson. Just to mention that, just throwing that out there so you can hear it.
I remember. I got tattoos of it all, scars.
Those guys are still around. All right, so I'm watching the game, and I'm watching Lamar Jackson the other night, and I was mortified because I keep seeing guys catch him from behind, and I see him in scrums that he often, for years, emerged from at 100 miles an hour. And I have this thought, and please feel free to tell me I'm nuts, that Lamar is losing or has lost some of his otherworldly burst as a guy who had burst. You know something about that? Am I crazy, or is this happening?
It's okay. Look, age has its, it's undefeated, right? So, but I'm not saying that's happening, but I'm saying it's okay if it happens. Because the truth is, we are developing Lamar Jackson into one of the most sophisticated passers in the NFL. And as we do that, that will unlock all of the ability that I've said it could be the world's greatest football player if we can get all the way there and the Ravens would fully commit. It's getting closer. So he doesn't need to be Barry Sanders anymore. It's awesome if he could. And the other thing I noticed over the years that I played, as time went on, I never lost the ability to make somebody miss. Even when I was last year, 38 years old, I was like, I made people miss. It was fine. Maybe I wasn't quite as fast. And he's never going to lose that ability to do what he needs to do to threaten the line of scrimmage. It won't go away. And if he's lost a quarter of a step, it's fine, because what we're developing is him to be one of the best players that ever played. And we're on our way.
A guy who hopes he's on his way is Caleb Williams, who had a terrific game Sunday, but it was just a bad Cowboy defense as a quarterback. Do you ever concern yourself with whether it's you or them, or is that just something that people are seeing from the outside?
Well, it's kind of 50-50, right? Like when teams suck, it helps. You know what I mean? Like it's not a bad thing, but it's not like college. It's not like you play the Colorado School of Mines, or a Humboldt State. Like it's not everybody's just wide open. The pros are paid, they're great athletes, and you play bad defenses, it does help. So that's 50% of it. But I'm going to give coaching and the transition and what Ben's brought and what Caleb's feeling as an early sign of what that other 50% is a close kinship that gets built between coach and quarterback so that it gets easier for the quarterback. It gets simpler. That's why Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay and Randy Reed are so famous, and all the coaches that have left them, is because they've made the job of playing quarterback easier. And I think Ben can do that. And it feels like maybe, I don't want to get it too excited, Mike, but it feels like maybe this is the beginning of something really cool.
We will get you out of here on this. And it's about quarterbacks, of course. How does one go from being bad against the blitz to being good against the blitz, which apparently just by changing teams, Daniel Jones has been able to accomplish? How does that happen?
Yeah, you get a lot of help. We just talked about it. Like innovative quarterback-centric minds that can help quarterbacks deal with. One thing about Daniel, he's an incredible athlete, super smart, and I think when he got him in the league, he thought he could do it all. I could be Superman. And he tried to be Superman, and it just ran into the ground. And then Brian Dable showed up and simplified things, and it got better. And it really forced Daniel to say, look, I know you're super smart. I know you can take on all kinds of data, but sometimes there's guys that can sit in the classroom and are the smartest people alive, but out on the field with the adrenaline and the speed of the game and everything that happens, their mind doesn't hold up. It just can't handle all the data. And so it feels like what the Colts have done is they're running the football, right? Top 5 in the league. And when they blitz, I've got the threat of running the football at them, even in the blitz situation. And it just kind of slows everything down and it simplifies things. If you want a quarterback to deal with the blitz, have their mind be at peace rather than racing.
It's great. It's great. Thank you, Steve.
Great.
Thank
Steve,
you so
thank
much.
you
as
so
always.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Let's go to the big finish if we could.
Let's do it.
Loyola's sister Jean retired at age 106. Your thoughts?
Happy retirement. How about that? I just want to see more Sister Jean in March Madness. I need the Ramblers to win. Get in again. Jaden Daniels returned to practice as a limited participant. Is that significant to you?
I'm not sure it is. They play Atlanta this week. I think the team can beat Atlanta with Marcus Mariota. You don't want to rush Jaden Daniels back, right? Speaking of the Falcons head coach Raheem Morris says Michael Penix Jr. will continue to start. Does that make sense to you?
I don't know. You got Cousins here. You're paying him $185 million or whatever it is. I don't know if it makes sense. The Nationals are reportedly hiring 35-year-old Red Sox assistant GM Paul Taboni to replace Mike Rizzo. How are you with that?
I'm okay. He has drafted a lot of the good young Red Sox players. The Red Sox are a fine organization. Theo Epstein made his mark with the Red Sox, I believe.
Yes, he did.
He's done pretty well. Last one.
Did.
Yankee starter Max Fried can win his 19th game tonight. Do you like his chances?
If you're going to go for number 19, why don't you just do it against the White Sox or the Rockies? In this case, the White Sox. Yeah, I like his chances.
We're out of time. We'll try to do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads.